Now I just repaired this electrical outlet. If you want to see that, I got that on a preceding episode video. You just have to find it. But I'm not going to work on that one. I got that all fixed and I showed you how to do it. And I've got a kind of a similar issue downstairs. I don't know if it's on the same breaker or not. I've got the breaker shut off right now. One of them upstairs. I'll have to turn that back on. But there was another one down here that I needed to work on. Oh yeah, here it is. Okay, this one happens to be coming in at a slight angle and it's pushed in. I can tell the top electrical outlet is almost flush with the sheetrock. It's supposed to be sticking out so it has enough room for this cover to fit on there, but I know it's not going to fit. You see how the bracket is kind of coming out at an angle, and I'm hoping to rebend that, and I've got to tweak that sideways. And I kind of did that similar upstairs on that other electrical outlet. This one should be about the same. Let's see if it's on the same. Let's see if it just happens to be on the same breaker. I don't know if it is or not. I kind of doubt it. Get my tester out. Yeah, see the orange lights on. Can you see that? Off. Now it's on, wiggling around. All right, I'll have to find the breaker. Never, and I repeat, never work on electrical projects with the power on, okay? Even something like this. I mean, if I was a professional electrician, I would know how to do it, and I could probably do it if it was life or death without turning the power off. I don't want you doing stuff like that. I'm gonna be safe rather than sorry. So I will try to locate the electrical outlet breaker and turn that off. Well, isn't that something? This was on, you know what circuit this was on? I couldn't find it. I tried living room, kitchen plugs. What else did I try? Garbage disposal. Because look where this is. It's on a little wing wall. And this area, I checked all, you know, smoke alarms, entry, and it was under microwave. Usually when you have a microwave, usually you put it on a dedicated circuit, but they must have thought, hey, let's add a couple other things. So, you know, they had to run a circuit from there to the electrical panel. So then they had to run their electrical wire from there across, down, over here to there. And look at this, there's another electrical outlet here. That one's hooked up to the microwave too. I would have guessed, you know, there's a garbage disposal right here. I would have guessed on the garbage disposal, on that circuit, they could have ran this electrical outlet and the other one, but no, it's off the microwave. Okay, all right. And this electrical outlet is pushed in at an angle, and this is bent out. And I checked this. I checked it a couple times, but sometimes with these testers, you have to wiggle it back and forth, and the light is definitely off, okay? And if you have an old tester, you want to check your tester in a good electrical outlet to make sure that the light's even working. Because the last thing you want is to make the assumption that the light's working, and then you test something, you find out the power's not off, and it's your tester, and you just electrocuted yourself or something. You know what I'm saying? All right, so let's get this out of here. Wow, it looks like the box is pushed way back in there too. These screws are just barely fitting in the box. I wonder if I can take a look at that. Okay, we'll get this pulled out of here. Yeah, the box is pushed in at a funky angle, and you know, it's because whoever installed the sheetrock, this edge of the sheetrock is not on the outside of the plastic box. I'll bet you if I were to trim that, I could get it in there better. I'm wondering if that box would spring out. See, it's packed kind of full too. See, this here is coming up at an angle, so I'm gonna get my pliers out. Do you have to be an electrician to do this? No, I'm not a professional licensed electrician. Come on. Just make sure your power's off. See, now that's coming up nice and straight. And just happen to have a sheetrock saw here. I didn't even think I was going to have to do this. And it looks like it's nailed on the stud over there. And so I think I could just trim this a little bit. We'll see. We shall see, shan't we? I want to see if I can get that box kind of slid out a little bit. If it'll spring back, it might not. But I'm going to try. The cover plate will still cover it. Okay. The last thing I want to do is do anything that's going to keep me from finishing my project or from having to patch a wall. That's the last thing we want, huh? That's the last thing we want. And I've got it, it's not really moving. But, you know, when I reattach the electrical outlet, it could pull it back a hair, but I don't think it's really, I think it's going to be okay where it is. I thought it might spring back, but it's not. That's okay. All right. Okay, so I fixed that, and it was in there kind of at an angle, and it might have been because this box was pushed in there at an angle. But I mean, usually you can just take your wires and you can flex them back and forth. And the one thing I find very interesting, isn't that something? They've got a 15 amp wire connected onto here and run. This is a 14 gauge wire, and 14 gauge wire is supposed to be on a 15 amp circuit. Let's just, and so I don't know what they ran up here. The breaker is a 20 amp breaker, I believe. Let's take a quick look at this. See there? That's a 20 amp. See, it says microwave, 20 amps. And in fact, every single one in this box is 20 amps, isn't it? That means all the wire sizes to all of these different circuits should be 12 gauge wire. And that is a thicker wire, because in reality, if you have a smaller wire on a 20 amp breaker, and if something were to happen and you put too much power connected onto here, let's say, and the circuit breaker is not going to trip until it thinks that there's, you know, more than 15 amps on the circuit. Thus, your wires could start melting, it could fry, it could spark, it could cause a fire. Son of a gun, why would they do such a thing? It's a common occurrence. 15 amp breakers, 14 gauge wire. 20 amp breakers, 12 gauge wire. And I know this wire is very thin. I can tell it's not 12 gauge wire. Those little dogs. Okay. I'm pushing that on there. I can see it's still kind of slightly coming out at an angle. So I'm going to pull this out and I'm just going to twist it like that. And then check it again. Like if I were to push it in, that looks good. That looks really good. So sweet. That's all I'm doing to this electrical outlet, and I've got it fixed. Okay? And it had a little cardboard washer on the back, so do I have to put it back on that way? No, not really. I'm going to. I could leave that off. Lots of them don't have them. It's just usually when they come in the plastic bag or something, Sometimes years ago, the screws sometimes would be missing. And it's like, where is the screw? Oh, well, it fell off at the store or whatever, and now you lost it. And so they decided to start putting those little cardboard washers on. Okay, now all I'm doing is lining it up because this can slide back and forth. Okay, and I can see they almost cut this sheetrock back too far, but it's okay. It's, you know, it'll work. These tabs are up high enough, and I don't want to do it too tight. I want this to stick out. Okay, I'm thinking I'm done. And I just repaired an electrical outlet. Okay, if you were to call an electrician to come out, you know how much that would have cost you? You might think, oh, that was easy. I could have done that had I known what to do. Now you do. But you know, an electrician, they probably have a service call amount, how much to charge to come out, and then for the first 15 minutes, and then anything after that is X amount, probably $100, just to do what I just did. Okay, and it's fixed. And all you had to do was spend what, 5 minutes of your valuable time watching Video Joe show you how to save 100 smackaroos. All right, that's it from here. Thanks for watching.